What's up, Canes fam? This is Joe from the Miami Knights podcast. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. As always, you can listen to us anywhere you listen to your podcast. Follow us on YouTube, like, subscribe, send us hate comments. We love it all. This week, we got a good episode for you. It's just going to be Curt and I. Jimmy is studying for finals. He's got law school finals coming up this week, so it is Curt and I holding it down. We talk high-level college football playoff talk. We recap the season a little bit, give out some Storm Awards, season awards, who got us to where we are today. We look forward a little eye of the hurricane, who's going to get us to the national championship, and then, of course, we wrap up with a little lock of the week and best of X. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy this week's episode, and yeah, go Canes.
I'm hurt, dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
Still from the 3. Streaks across the 40. He might be gone. It's up.
Desmond to the right. Oh,
They got blockers. They got blockers. They've got a lane.
into the end zone. Touchdown, Miami. Darrell Langham with the grab.
Stars intercepted. Oh, look out. Trajan Bandy, the true freshman. We got them shooting again. Because when the U is on and the U brings it, there's nothing like it. We got to get there. And it's going to take everybody.
We are coming to you from College Football Playoff Week. It's week 1. It's the first round. Your Miami Hurricanes play a little postseason football this week, and it's not the Pop-Tarts Bowl. It is the first round of the College Football Playoffs at Texas A&M, Saturday, noon kickoff Eastern, 11 a.m. Central there at Kyle Field. It still doesn't feel real when I say it out loud. We are a week from post-announcement, post-playoff bracket announcement, and it still does not feel real. Curt, how are we doing?
It's game week.
It's game week.
I can't believe it.
Hang on, let me say this before any introductions. I wasn't on the episode last week.
Yep.
And you guys mentioned that I was a good sport about the fact that I was right. I was the only one on this show that thought we were going to get in. And you guys said the reason I was being a good sport is because I had doubts myself, that I truly did not think it was going to happen. And you're right. There was doubts. But I'm the ultimate optimist when it comes to these things, and I knew head-to-head had to matter. So the Bama stuff is crazy. You guys talked about it. Bama that was beyond belief for me. I could not believe that they didn't move. But the fact of the matter is we got in, and I never gave up. So I just wanted to say that, clear the air there. But it is game week. I mean, how are we feeling?
I mean, I think it's started to sink in a little bit, but I still can't. I mean, it's hard not to consider, all that this process has been for this staff, for Mario Cristobal and his tenure at Miami, and the buildup and what it's led to ultimately, culminating now in a college football playoff berth. It's just unbelievable. It's amazing that we're sitting here getting prepared for a playoff game. This is the biggest game for the program since the Ohio State game in 2002.
I'm glad you mentioned
it was January 2003.
Yeah,
right?
I was thinking earlier this week, this is the biggest game since blank, and I think you're right. I truly think it is the Ohio State National Championship game, which is it's crazy because we've had big games just this season alone. I mean, even the final game against Pitt, we were saying that this is a giant game for Miami, and it turned out that it really was a giant game because winning that in the fashion we did cemented us into the college football playoff. But yeah, this is the biggest game the Miami Hurricanes have played in 23 years.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And the highs and lows and just That's where I think about all that the program has been through, all that it's gone through to get to this point, because it's the hottest topic every college football season is people have been eager, or the U is back. Is the U back? That's something that for years and years and years, that's been the question.
Joe Tessitore will say it on a pick six. He'll just announce that on a broadcast.
Yeah. And now it's the U being back means we're competing for national championships. And it's here. It's here now. Yeah. And I think you can feel the excitement, throughout the program, and watching Mario talk in the past 7 days, since the announcement was made. I think you can sense it from him too, but also a focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, so let's get into that a little bit, because I hopped on the College Huddle National podcast last week, and Eric was interviewing me, and he asked me, is the U back? And I feel like it's a tough question, because in my mind, the U is not truly back until we win a national championship, because we've won 5 previously, just pure domination in the 80s, in the late 90s, early 2000s. But it's 2 parts, because it's like the U is not back until we win a national championship, but this is a giant step in that direction. And the fact of the matter is, this season, no matter what happens on Saturday, is a complete success. So it's like, as a Miami Hurricane fan, we can talk with pride and say, we're not truly back until we win a championship, but, and you, Curt, you might feel differently here, and you could say this is loser talk, loser mentality. To me, just making it to the college football playoff in year 4 of Mario Cristobal makes this season a gigantic success.
No, I actually agree, and I would probably I think my bar for being back is, I guess you could consider it lower, but I think, obviously I do. I think it's being a legitimate contender, being in the mix for the national title. And I think 2 years in a row now we have firmly been in that position. I think last year, this is 2 years running now, and this roster is it's not going to go away. And I think, winning a national title is the ultimate prize. Only one team can do it. It's obviously very, very difficult to get back to the top of the mountain. And I think this team has a chance. And I think that, to me, that's enough to be able to sit here and say that Mario's done it. I do think that the U is back.
Yeah, completely fair. He also asked me an interesting question that I truly had a difficult time answering. If you listen to the podcast, it locked me up, truly, because he asked me about Brian Hartline going to USF and how there's been rumors that say there's a collapse at Miami, and 2 to 3 years down the road, could Brian Hartline be a good fix for Miami? And I was like, what are you talking about? Mario Cristobal just brought this team from the depths. Mind you, we had some good years with Mark Richt, and we love Mark Richt on this podcast. And then when Manny Diaz took over, there was just a huge drop in recruiting. The team that Mario Cristobal took over in 2021 was not a good football team. If you look at that depth chart, there were some good players. There's always been good players at Miami, but there was a lot of players that had no business being on the field, and we just didn't look the part. And what he's done in those 4 years, and the fact that we're in the playoffs now, like you said on the last show, give this man a lifetime contract. There's no collapse that could happen to even entertain the idea of a new coach coming in. It's a great spot to be in when you're looking around the college football landscape, the disaster that's happening at some of these coaching positions, and we've got a guy that's just as steady as they come.
It would it would have to be scandalous to the likes of Sharon Moore. I mean, Mario's not going. He's not going anywhere. He's established himself as one of the ultimate recruiters in the sport, and that's what the biggest thing that we've talked about is it's the roster construction. Roster construction ultimately gets you in the mix every year, and then you tie it together with the coordinators specifically. I just look at it like this. We have a CEO coach who is not afraid to shake things up when needed with his staff, right? So he's not gun shy like we've seen, Al Golden, and it happens all across the country. How many coaches are they hang themselves by their refusal to let go of certain staff members, right? So we have that. We have a guy who has an eye for talent. He attracts talent, and he's relentless with his recruiting and his roster construction, and he's adamant about starting it inside out, right? Yeah. And so again, you're just talking about things. The foundation that a coach like Mario Cristobal, brings in. And on top of that, you have a guy who he's at his dream job, and he wakes up every day absolutely obsessed with the job that he has. He's not thinking about it. You can't even say that about Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was never satisfied. Mario Cristobal is satisfied where he's at. So those three things are like it's not a foundation built on sand. It's absolutely to me it's rock solid, and we might have the 5 and 7 years are because he had to build it up to where it needed to go. And for me, I think what you're getting at ultimately is that what is a bad year going to look like for us? 9-3, 10-2.
Yeah, and that's something that we've talked about. Mario Cristobal's first year, he went 5 and 7, and it was unbelievable for this program to witness, but we trusted in the process. What you've seen FSU go through for multiple years now, what Florida has gone through for multiple years, I truly cannot fathom it happening at Miami. And you can clip this and play it 3 years down the road, and I could look like an idiot. I just don't see it happening with everything you're speaking about the foundation that's being built. We signed the number 15 recruiting class last year, and look, and like what you said, is it's not even as much about the stars he's going after. It's his ability to understand and seek and be able to evaluate talent. That Malachi Tony is the example everyone uses, but it's like the number 15 class is performing like the number 1 class in the nation this year on the field. Yep. And then this year, right after we make the playoff, he goes ahead and signs the number 10 class in the country, 30 commits, 0 drama on signing day. And it's just like, we could not be in a better position.
Yep. And we talked about this over text, but like his strategy of being hyper aggressive on guys who ball out their senior year. He doesn't care. I think that's what he's unlocked because everyone's obsessed with the rankings, and it's hard to follow recruiting now because of all the sites and the paywalls, and it's really difficult to follow it throughout the year. So you kind of just look at like, what's our class? What is it? Mm-hmm. Is it 10? Is it 12? Is it 20? Is it 2? And all of these sites rank players vastly different. Okay. We see guys commit and decommit and move all over the place, right? They're constantly moving up and down. And so to have a coach who doesn't care about the star next to your name. He's deeply relational. He cares about your on-field production. I think a lot of these recruiting websites, it's the 5 stars who they wow guys at camps, and it's like the underwear Olympics. It's like the NFL Combine and what happens in the NFL draft. It's very similar. And some of the kids they wow people in camp, or, we've seen it, high school football, depending on what division you're in, what classification, what state, what area you're in, the talent gaps are so spread out all over the place that, you need a guy who's got it, to me, just figured where Mario does, where he believes in his system, that he's established. And so to me, it's like anything top 15 is going to be more than good enough. And then now he's going to backfill, through the portal, come the new year.
Yep. And what a good feeling it is that on December 14th, we don't have to talk about the portal. We don't have to talk about what's going to happen in the offseason, because we have meaningful football being played this week. I mean, it's all good news at this point, but I will say the thing that quickly came to light for me when Miami got announced that they were in the college football playoff is our path to the overall national championship. If you ask anybody, it's probably the most difficult path to the championship. What are your thoughts on, you beat Texas A&M, it's then Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, it's then, if the favorites win out, most likely Georgia next, and then finally in the national championship. I mean, I'm glad to be here. The fact that you can go 10-2 and still be able to compete for national championship is a great thing, but it is more difficult than ever to win it all. And our path is brutal.
Yeah. And it's like the excitement in getting in is what matters. And so, it's not something I feel like we can sit here and really complain about. But I do think, I mean, listen, it's worth a discussion, and I do think you're right. I did say last week that to me, just, I'm not, the rankings, I think, all season have been flawed. And we talked leading up to the Louisville game, we talked very openly about the fact that in our view, Miami was the number one team in the country. And I just think if you look at the totality of Ohio State's season, the Big Ten, it's a weak conference. It really is. And we've discussed the SEC as well. And I'm looking at roster construction, teams that are built professionally like Miami is. And that's why I agree with, Nick Saban said it, right? It's like Miami gets in the dance and no one's going to want to play Miami. And I absolutely feel that way. And so Texas Tech is the other team that I just, throughout the season, when they wanted to run the ball, they could run the ball. When they needed whatever they needed to get done, they got done. They just figured it out, and they're physical, they're tough, they're very talented. They're another team that has trusted, their process with evaluation, and when they singled out a guy that they wanted, they got him because they're throwing the dollar amount at him. And so I think it's a team that's built with purpose, much like Miami's is. And so Texas Tech being on the other side of the bracket, to me, was the biggest thing I was looking for. But Texas A&M is big too, and they're physical, and they're very talented.
Nasty defensive line.
So the two Texas schools, I think as we, or hopefully as we progress through this thing and make our way to the national championship game, I'm really not petrified of Ohio State and Georgia. That's kind of the way I feel.
Yeah, and truly, it's the really good tests that Ohio State had this season, they struggled against. They struggled with Texas to open the season, then they lose to Indiana in the Big Ten championship. I will say, if you talk to a lot of Ohio State fans as they're looking at this college football playoff bracket, they're hoping, a lot of them are hoping Texas A&M wins in that first round because, like you said, Miami's a tough matchup, and we can beat anybody in this thing, and it's why I'm just so happy we're in. I mean, if you think about the season we had, and it's like those 2 losses, just how horrible those 2 losses would have been to look back on for just months, the entire offseason. And now you don't have to. It's like, yeah, they stunk, but we learned from them. It is what it is, and we should have easily won those 2 games and gone undefeated. And at the time, right before Louisville, people thought we were the number 1 team in the country. Yeah. So,
and I think you agree, but like, I still contend those 2 losses this year, they were different than 2 lost seasons that we've had in the past.
100%.
I mean, we have legitimate gripes about officiating in both games, but particularly SMU. That is just,
yeah. I mean, it was.
2 major calls that made zero sense, and that we ultimately saw in the SEC championship game, a late hit on a play that was blown dead. It was the same play.
Yep.
And Louisville, just the wheels completely. I mean, that's a game that we absolutely sleptwalked through, and Carson Beck was horrendous to the point that it was like, is he going to have the yips going forward throughout? What's going to happen? Are the wheels going to fall off? That bad that we were driving with a chance to win or force overtime. I just think it's different, right? These 2 losses, it doesn't feel like we have major glaring issues.
We truly, and I know people say this about every loss, but if you watch these 2 games, we truly beat ourselves in those 2 games. I mean, and then in the SMU game, it was the perfect combo of we beat ourselves and the refs it was horrendous. And it's like, that's how you lose. The margins are thin in college football, and these are ended up 2 teams that finished 8-4. So it's like we played as bad as we could play against 2 8-4 teams and blew it on the last play of both of those games, and you end up with 2 losses. 100% it's different. It's not like, I mean, what was the stat of Miami has, I forget the exact stat, but it was basically like your margin of victory, margin of loss. Like Miami is top of that chart of the way we're blowing teams out, and then the losses that we've had have been by less than a touchdown. Like that's just winning football, and that's why the 12-team playoff, I think, is perfect, and it rewards teams like Miami that can still get in. And now it's anyone's game. Texas A&M at noon. Can't believe it.
How about that though? When you think about this game and you think about, are we fortunate that it's a noon game and that we at Kyle Field? It's not under the light. I mean, it's inexplicable. I don't understand it.
It makes no sense. Like, that's 11 a.m. their time. I don't understand.
I don't get it.
But I do say it's PTSD because the last 11 a.m. game we played in Texas was SMU, and we looked horrible coming out in that. But well, I mean, we'll be up for it. We'll be ready. I think it only benefits Miami. The weather is supposed to be fantastic. It's like 65 degrees. It's not going to be cold at all. It'll be a great crowd, but like we've been there. Mario played there his first year, and we battled, and that was at night. I mean, I'm really not worried about the atmosphere at all. I think it's good. I mean, Carson Beck, the way that he's playing right now, he's just playing with the utmost confidence. He's not phased. There's other things that phase him. We've seen some of the interception stuff, maybe seeing Ghost out there. One thing that does not phase Carson Beck is the atmosphere. The lights are never too big, and quite frankly, the bigger the game, the more this Miami Hurricane team kind of steps up and balls out. And Mario Cristobal, he's shown time after time that he can win the big games.
That's right. And I think when you can rely on your defense, that's what takes the crowd out of it. I just think that the defense and being able to truly have confidence in that unit is what's going to sustain us and get us to start hot, with our hair on fire. And I'd love to see us be able to defer the opening kick and get the defense out there. But I'm with you. I'm not. I think the atmosphere is more like I'm looking forward to how cool it's going to be rather than
game day is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awesome. And that's the part I love, that's a noon kickoff. It's like we can wake up in the morning, turn on game day, and we don't have to, the anxiety of waiting till 8 o'clock kickoff or something like that. We don't have to worry about it. And it's like, let's go win this thing. And then looking ahead, you got New Year's Eve against Ohio State. But we're not going to look ahead on this podcast. We take each game as it comes, just like Coach Cristobal teaches us. Okay. We are going to do a deep dive on Texas A&M later this week. So let's get into a little, because we didn't play last week. Let's talk about Storm Awards, Curt, for the regular season. The three awards that got us to where we are today, good and bad. Mm-hmm. Give me your Hurricane of the Year, your Tropical Storm of the season, and your Tropical Depression of the season. What three guys are how and why we are at 10-2, number 10 team in the country today?
Yeah, I think it's the story of the season, I think, and it's going to be the story going into next season as well. You know, my Hurricane of the Year is Malachi Toney, obviously, and just what an unbelievable evaluation by the staff. What an unbelievable, I mean, to be able to not only target this kid in college, but to be able to get him to come in and fit almost from the first game of the season. Our offense, it revolves around him. It's like, how can we get him the ball? For this kid who was 17 at the start of the season, to be our leading receiver, he has pretty much doubled up. I think Keelan Marion is our second leading receiver statistically, and he's like doubled up Keelan Marion's stats, receptions, yards. He fell just short of 1,000 yards for the regular season. 7 touchdowns, I believe is where he ultimately landed at for the year. Yeah, 7 touchdowns, which tied C.J. Daniels for the receiving lead in touchdowns. I mean, just what an unbelievable revelation he's been, and the excitement. You know, I think that this is going to be a guy who's gonna ultimately make it to New York. He's going to be in Heisman consideration for the rest of his career. I think he's going to break records. He's going to be incredibly dynamic. The ways that we've been able to use him, you know, I think we're going to see some Malley-Cat formation here this week, but just I mean, unbelievable, Malachi Toney.
Yeah, I mean, we simply cannot say enough praises for what Malachi Toney has done this season. And you know, after Heisman Trophy ceremony was yesterday, Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman. It was one of the worst, if not the worst, Heisman years of all time, but congrats to Mendoza. But right after the ceremony, ESPN announced their early look ahead for Heisman candidates for next season, and sure enough, our man Malachi Toney was on that list, where he belongs. So we're starting the campaign now. Malachi Toney for Heisman. I think the way that we use him in the offense, he doesn't even need to eclipse 1,000 yards. Like if we're looking at who's the most valuable player on winning teams, and it's just somebody that he simply can do it all. He's unbelievable pass catcher, route runner, blocker. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. Yeah, I mean, we simply would not be where we are without Malachi Toney, and we didn't know what our receiver position was going to look like going into the season.
It was such a question mark.
Such a question mark. I mean, it was like, I think we were like, C.J. Daniels we know is going to be a focal point, and then we had no idea. We truly did not know. It was like, is it going to be JoJo Trader? Is it like we have a couple freshmen? Malachi Toney flashed in spring ball and in camp, but we really had no idea. And here we are. I'm going to go, I mean, it's tough. It really was like just a complete cohesive team unit this season, because there's not that many guys that, other than Malachi Toney, it's like after him, it's really was just a team effort to get where we are. I got to go. Oh, Jimmy's going to hate me for this. I'm going Coach. I'm going Mario Cristobal. He's my Hurricane of the Year. I mean, we're sitting here, like you said, I think the reason he's my Hurricane of the Year is his ability to change and adapt. And it's something we have not seen from a Miami Hurricanes coach I truly don't know when the last time is. And the fact
Jimmy Johnson probably.
Yeah.
No joke.
It has not been in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Since a Miami Hurricane coach has been able to adapt and hasn't been stubborn enough to he was on the infamous Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway podcast. What's that podcast called? Where Joey Galloway wears a towel.
I know. I actually don't know. I truly
don't
know.
That guy is just the worst.
Yeah.
But he was on that show this week, and he admitted that it took a little bit for him to, it took really the SMU game for him to kind of look in the mirror and be like, all right, something has to change here. I want to just ground and pound and run this thing up the middle. That's his mentality. I think it's a great mentality to have, but if that's not working, you got to adapt and change, and we saw it. It was that play when it was the pass back to Carson Beck against Stanford. That's when everything changed for this program this season. So, yeah, I just think we knew what his strengths were going into the season, and then I think he improved as a game day coach this year. I think his timeouts were better. His overall game day strategy was better, and then his ability to let Dawson kind of do his thing on the playbook, and it's just made a world of difference. So,
yeah.
Jimmy, Mario Cristobal, who you were done with, is my Hurricane of the Year.
I love that. Wasn't the book on him, or the narrative has been people trying to say the opposite of that. Like he wasn't gonna. He's too. Maybe it's the way he comes across that people are just like, this guy's never gonna change. He's stuck in his ways. He's an old school. He's an offensive lineman. He's a blockhead. He can't. Yeah. He's bad. I think we've seen every year him get better at the game management.
Every year.
We talked about this last year.
And he's made coordinator changes every year to make sure we've got the best guys lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And remember we did a full rehaul on defense. Who was the one guy he kept? Jason Taylor, who's been unbelievable. He knows what he's doing.
Where did he even find Jason Taylor from? He just he picked
gut.
him up off the street and was like, "You want to be an analyst?" And now
he just trusted his gut. He's like, "This guy's a Hall of Fame defensive lineman. I think he can probably coach these young guys."
Mm-hmm.
He's an uber talented talent acquisition. He knows when he just sees it. He's just got the eye for it, and it's worked out. And
he made a change at strength and conditioning coach. I mean, this guy
that never happens. Yeah, and Mustache is still a fan of us. He still posts about us.
Yeah, a guy he brought from Oregon. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think you can underestimate what a guy being at his dream job, alma mater, desperate for them to be back. I don't think you can't underestimate how much that's locked him in, I think.
Mm-hmm. Think about his ability to get a guy like Ruben Bain to commit when Ruben Bain was at the Middle Tennessee State game, everybody. That was his official visit. And his ability to not only get Ruben Bain year one, but make sure Ruben Bain stays. And now he's going to be a top 10 NFL draft pick. He graduated already. He's only a junior, and he already graduated college.
And that was we beat out Florida. Think about where the programs Miami and Florida State were at that time.
Yes,
and he beat out Florida State for Ruben Bain.
And that is something. It's something my dad talks about all the time. It's like, regardless of anything else, what are you doing against your rivals on the field, off the field, everything like. We've dominated Florida State, Florida on and off the field. Think about how they must feel right now. Think about how, if you're Florida State sitting at home, if you're Florida sitting at home, how are you feeling watching what Miami is doing?
The only thing Florida fans are doing they're doing the off-season championship, the hypothetical thing,
new coach,
and they've got some legitimate things to be excited about. But you're not gonna. The Mario owning them, do they understand? That's not. When are we going to play them again?
Yeah.
I mean, these 2 years were a big deal. They were a big deal for him because it's gonna. I mean, it's with the way that this all has gone down.
Until the playoffs.
And I say that I don't say that part with a smile. I think it stinks. I wish we would play Florida, every year or every other year. But Florida's doing that. I mean, Florida State. What is? Genuinely. What is? Where is Florida State
they're
at
desperately
right now?
hoping that Mike Norvell has a mistress. They are praying for it. It's brutal.
Bad.
It's got to be just the worst feeling. He was hired, was it 2 years before? What year is he going
Yeah,
into?
because this was year 6.
This was year 6.
Yeah.
And they did not make a bowl game again,
Lord.
and they're watching Miami in year 4 go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Tough.
Like
Tough.
I think it was Jimmy that said it. The climb has been applicable to Miami. That's been Mario Cristobal. The climb.
It's been long enough, pain enough for them. I'm starting to feel bad for their fans. I'm not feeling bad for the program in general, but some of the fans that I know personally, it's brutal. And to see that hashtag the climb, I don't know how I would handle it. I could not imagine being a Florida State fan right now.
At some point, if you ask us for real, because the strength of, or not strength of record, the combined opponent record, thing that we sort of touched on it then, but like, when beating Florida State is like, that's bringing down our combined opponent record, and
not good.
And it's like it gets to the point where there's such a joke that it's like, all right, let's
get it together.
We need a big time Miami FSU game again, that means something, and it's not we're not beating up on a 3-9 team.
Okay, tropical storm of the season.
I'm gonna have to go Akeem Mesidor here. He's been outstanding. He was one of the best defensive ends in the country, if not the best defensive end in the country. I think for the dynamic duo that he and Ruben Bain have become, and talked about it earlier this season too, like a guy that he transferred in from West Virginia, but he feels like one of those guys that he's been here. He's been here and he's elevated his game as the program has elevated. He wasn't like, because the tough part about when you're in when you have the highs and lows and you're trying to build the program back is like the guys, when the program is sinking below expectations and it's not where you need it to be, the guys that you take, sometimes you have to cut out the fat from those rosters, right? And Akeem Mesidor has been a guy. Akeem Mesidor, Wesley Bissainth, those are kind of, there are more, Inez Cooper, and there are more guys, but Mesidor is the one who is like, he's hit the absolute peak where this guy, now we're talking about a top 20 draft pick, potentially. He's just, every single year he's gotten better. Every year going into the season, I'm like, I feel like he's going to fall out of the rotation. And he's battled for his spot. He's played through injuries. I think he was another guy who was banged up last year and couldn't get healthy.
And this year too. He played a few games
that's
banged
right.
up and hurt.
Just what an outstanding player he's become. He's a guy that I'm going to remember, and think of very fondly and in high regard for a long time.
Yeah, and it was such like when everybody finally found out that Ruben Bain was just a terror on the edge, and they started double teaming him and just running different schemes to make sure that Bain was locked up, and that just unleashed Mesidor. And to have a guy that is just a tiny step down from Bain, like they are almost even. He's just Bain's a freak, so to have a guy like that to be able to be like, all right, you're gonna free me up and let me get after it. And now we've got another first rounder. He's been unbelievable. And without him, I we wouldn't be where we are today. I think I'm going to stay on that side of the ball. I mean, we know what our defense did last year and how bad it was, and thinking about the secondary, and I think Keontae Scott, he just set the tone for what we did on defense this season and how bad our secondary was last year and just the step it's taken this year. Keontae Scott, even with his injury, grades out as a top 5 defensive back. Keontae Scott did not allow a single touchdown all season against him. In coverage, he did not allow a single touchdown. The guy was unbelievable. He had a pick 6, and it's an absolute shame about his injury. I've heard rumors he could be back. I highly doubt it's against Texas A&M, but because it sounds like, and these are all rumors, but it sounds like the injury was turf toe, which is one of those things that there's a wide range of how bad it could be, and then it's just kind of like rest, and can you come back and play on it and get through that pain? We'll see. Yeah. But, I mean, Keontae Scott for me is like what he did on defense this season kind of set the tone in that entire secondary room, and we've just been locked down. It's been great, and it's allowed guys like Bryce Fitzgerald to learn under him, and to have a transfer come in like that and just play the way he does and kind of like just bring a refreshing energy into a defense that last year lacked a lot of energy has been great to see. The total rehaul, but I think started with Keontae. Yeah,
I'm with you. Tying up to, I don't think we allowed a touchdown over 40 yards this season. We were one of only a few teams in the country who had done that, and he and Jacoby Thomas were absolutely outstanding. I mean, what great hits! I mean, I said it all season long. I mean, first of all, War Eagle to Keontae Scott, but it was like that was just viewed as one of those. He and Jacoby Thomas both were like, they're SEC throwaways, guys who couldn't cut it.
The opposing teams are on Twitter being like, "Oh, thank God he's gone. Good luck with him."
Yeah, and I think it's that the combination of, again, when you talk about, not to be a broken record, but when you talk about what Mario Cristobal has done in evaluating talent and selecting guys to bring in, right? Joe's Hurricane of the Year is guys who fit the scheme. Yeah. And what we asked those two guys to do, what we asked Keontae Scott to do, we played to his strengths. He tackles well in the open field. He runs the alley, and he shores up. He also shores up, the backside of the defense. So, I mean, I still think we had the best 2 safeties in the country, and I think the Downs thing, winning the Thorpe Award, was, a lot of these awards are narrative based and stuff. It is what it is, but yeah, what an awesome season he had. Just I hope we can get him back. But turf toe stinks. That's nags for a long time too.
I didn't know what it was until Joe Burrow got it this season, and I looked it up. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Especially like if it's what grade it is. Like
exactly.
Grade 3 turf toe is the most disgusting thing ever.
Yeah. And I know guys, like I remember even like back in high school, like it would bother guys for forever. Yeah. I mean, like talking like over a year.
Yeah. I mean, it's ended guys' career like that, or guys that are later, because it's nagging. It takes a while to fully heal. You can kind of play through it, but you have to stay in a boot when you're not playing. It's it's a shame. But there's a chance he comes back. We'll see. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tropical depression of the season. Who did not help us get to 10-2, maybe hurt us. Maybe is the reason that we had 2 losses and why we're the number 10 team in the country, not number 1.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's got to be Elijah Lofton.
Yeah.
I don't.
Tough season.
I mean, he's really underwhelmed, and I think it's a guy who's got the physical gifts. I guess I don't think he's quite as athletic as David Njoku, but I kind of thought he would be that kind of tight end for us, a guy who could stretch the field and be like a red zone threat and stuff. And there's been a little bit of ups and downs. He's had some success, but I think in general, I think looking back on that SMU game, that what you're asking a tight end to do is to catch passes in tight spaces, right? To catch passes where there's going to be contact. That's 95% of a tight end's job, right? And so his drop touchdown pass in the SMU game was huge, and I don't think I just didn't see any progression from him. He looked like the guy last year that, you know, he split time with the other Elijah, and it just, he didn't look like he was ready to ultimately step up and be tight end one. And I think that was disappointing. I think it could have made us even more dynamic to be able to have a guy like that we could rely on in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because my tropical depression of the season, and it was a bit of a cop out. I was just going to say the tight end room in general, because I also had Alex Bauman in mind.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say Bauman did better things than Lofton this season. He had some flashes. He was pretty good in some block schemes. He did his job. He's a smart player. But it's just still, it wasn't good enough for what Miami requires out of the tight end position and how great of tight ends we've had. Even just last year with Elijah Arroyo and what he did, it was just such a huge drop-off that clearly hurt our offense. I mean, you look around the rest of the starting offense, and everyone had unbelievable seasons, and then you look at the tight end room, and it just wasn't there. And I can vividly think about, in the SMU game specifically, just a few giant drops both of them had, and just in coverage, getting hit. Like, there's just things that you have to be able to do as a tight end that they just did not do. So I think it hurt us. I think it was the reason some of the offensive production wasn't there. And yeah, need more out of the tight ends.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Lofton. I know he's played hurt this season, but I don't know who we're bringing in at the tight end position. But we need to go to the portal and get somebody to compete with these guys on Greentree.
For sure. I wish I had it prepared, but I think that this has got to be the worst tight end room that we've had. I mean, gosh, 20 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
Maybe 25 years. 20.
Because even on the bad Miami
27
teams, the highlight of a lot of bad Miami teams was the tight end position.
Yeah.
Like NFL type guys.
Yep. We were still churning out Jimmy Graham.
Did not have that this year.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
But trying to think of a tropical depression on this team, not easy, which is
no. Maybe the only other one I could think of was, like, you know, when we brought Bert Auburn in. I know he ended his Texas career like really badly, but before that he was one of the most accurate kickers of all time for his first like 80 kicks or 50 kicks or whatever it was. He was really good, and he lost his mojo or whatever happened at the end of Texas there. And the kicking room was our other big concern. If you go back to the first episode, it was like, what the heck are we going to kick? Like, what are we going to do? And
Carter Davis,
Carter
Irish
Davis
killer.
was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, I mean, he's been great for us. And we haven't kicked a ton of field goals, but they've all been in pretty big moments.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just, I mean, he's been awesome. What, he missed 2?
Yeah, 14 and 16. Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful. And one was like a really long one, and the other was just in garbage time when thought Bert Auburn should get his senior kick, but he did not. Okay. Well, again, we're going to be doing a deep dive in Texas A&M, but high level, when we're looking toward this game, who is the eye of the hurricane? Who are we spotlighting? Who, and you can kind of even take this broad picture playoffs. If we're going to make a run, who needs to ball out for Miami?
I think it's vital that we get our running game back on track. I think once again, we're talking about the same things here, like the adaptability of this team. And I don't know that it's gotten enough credit, you know, from the national media about how adaptable this team has become, because we haven't run the ball that well. We've run the ball well, but we haven't run the ball to the standard that we expect for this season. And obviously Mark Fletcher's been hurt, and Jordan Lyle has fallen off he's been at this point, I wonder how hurt he is. He's fallen off the face of the earth, right? And Gerard Pringle and Marty Brown have been kind of our guys down the stretch, and Pringle's brought a dynamism to this offense that has been really exciting. But at the end of the day, specifically Mark Fletcher, I think we're going to need to make a deep run. When you're playing big boy football, you're talking about wearing teams out at the end of the game, leaning on teams at the end of the game, and picking up those crucial first downs, extending drives. I think the things that we did against Notre Dame and Florida and USF, that isn't it funny to think about how differently we've played those games? How different did we play the first couple games versus the last 4 games, where it's like we turned into a spread offense who was just flying down the field, spreading the ball out wide, speed.
Yeah.
Even the running, we switched to the running back that had the speed, but tempo. Yeah. I mean, the big boy power football, again, we in the second half specifically of these games, and when you're on the road, is going to be major. And so Mark Fletcher specifically, but the run game is my eye of the hurricane.
Yep, I agree with that. I think mine, and it's been like, I think I've had this eye of the hurricane probably every week, and it's Carson Beck. Going into, if you listen back to our season preview episode, we talk about the fact that we don't need a Cam Ward on this offense. We just need a game manager. We just need someone to lead this offense and make the right throws. And when Carson Beck is playing at his highest, he is that to perfection. He is able to read the defenses. He's able to hit the checkdowns. He's able to be deadly accurate and efficient quarterback. And that is how we win football games. It's the Carson Beck that we saw against Louisville, obviously, is how we lose football games. Even SMU, he played good, but then you have that just an inexcusable overtime interception. We can't have a Carson Beck forcing anything. We just need him to make the correct throws, and he's better at anybody in the country at just being able to, when he's in that rhythm, when we're running a little bit of tempo, and he's able to kind of just dissect the defense and just, he'll make throws that's like, in layering it in between zone coverages, and you're just like, it's an unbelievable throw. That's the Carson Beck we need, especially on the road at Kyle Field. You just can't turn the ball over. Play smart football. If we can couple an efficient Carson Beck with a good running game, oh boy, this could be a special run we're about to go on. So, yeah. And I think another thing that makes me very happy about where Miami is at is just the way we played the last 4 games. There's not a team in the country that's played better. Maybe Indiana, but they had that game against Penn State, like a better 4-game stretch going into this playoff. Like, who's the hottest team right now? It's hard pressed to pick anybody other than Miami.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm excited. Okay. Yeah.
Are you gonna let us know what are your expectations? When you look at the bracket, like what are you feeling, Joe?
I'm happy to be here. Like, truly, I can't just get, and I hope the team's does not have the mentality I have, because just getting here, I can't even, like, this is all just gravy for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, then we can also beat anybody. But I don't know. It's like, I think we're better than Texas A&M, but going at Texas A&M and beating them and then making it to the Cotton Bowl, I don't even know if I'm prepared for that mentally. So it's like, I don't even know if my brain can comprehend playing Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, still in the hunt. Like, that game would be.
You talk about surreal.
Oh,
I actually, when Jimmy brought it up, like live last week, I was taken off my feet. Obviously the Ohio State connection, like, but the fact that New Year's Eve, I was at the game. I was at the Fiesta Bowl, the infamous penalty
Were
flag
you? I
game.
didn't know that.
Sure was.
I didn't know that.
Tempe, Arizona. We stayed in the same hotel as the Los Angeles Lakers, who were in the middle of a dynasty of their own. But yeah, I was there.
Wow.
I was at that game, and but to even, I'm with you. That's the one you talk about, like pinching your. This has been surreal, but that would be like, I've got to be dreaming, and then to think beyond that again, like I just couldn't believe it when Jimmy was talking about it. It was like the Carson Beck thing with potentially playing Georgia. You're just talking like week after week of like Carson Beck redemption game, and then could you even imagine we play Oregon in the net? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's I actually can't imagine it. So that's where my headspace is here.
Yeah.
Just I can't even. It still doesn't feel like we're playing football on Saturday.
I'm with you.
It doesn't feel. It all feels just like I'm just seeing all this bowl stuff. It feels like the season's over.
Yeah.
And
it does.
We are competing for a national champ. We are four wins away from a 6th ring.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Okay, a lot more to come this week about that game. Let's close out the show with a little lock of the week action and best of X. So we updated the rankings last week for lock of the week. I lead it 10-4 on the season. Have a season, Joe.
I mean, you had some
Jimmy,
huge outright wins too.
Yeah, I was just all over it. I was absolutely dialed with these. Jimmy 8-6, Curt 6-8. So, I mean, everyone's still in it because we've got 4. Yeah, we got 4 weeks left, so we could still do this.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows though if Miami loses? How many episodes we've got left? The Miami Nights podcast. No. We'll keep going. Okay. Let's go. Lock of the week. Curt, you've got it. Oh, I see you updated the sheet.
Sure did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let us know. Lock of the week. What do you got?
Yeah. My lock of the week, it's the Canes. And I'm
wow. Is
Miami,
this the first on the season?
It is. Yeah. It sure is. Plus 3.5 on the road against A&M. I mean, this is I think that we are a matchup nightmare for anybody that we play. I think just firing on all cylinders, getting healthy. I just think that this is setting up for Miami to make a run here. I told Jimmy last week that on Saturday I was sitting here and I'm thinking, if Miami I did not think that we were getting in, but it was like, if it were to happen, how would I like our chances? And I opened the Hard Rock app. Miami's odds to win the national championship were still posted. They were plus 6,000. Okay. I sprinkled a little bit on it, and it was just purely just a thinking like, if we get in, the odds will never be this good. And we're a team that has the ability to do something. And, I think I love what we got going here. I think the public is all over Texas A&M, and the books are refusing to move this line. And I'm kind of wondering if Miami's going to catch some steam here as we get closer to game time as well, and start to see some of the sharp action. But I just listen. I love how the Canes stack up here, and I think if you watch Texas A&M this season, Arkansas gave them problems. South Carolina gave them problems. This was not a team that how many times did we talk about their SEC schedule? And the teams that they faced, ultimately they struggled with Texas. I just think that this is a team that is gettable, and I think that we can frustrate Marcel Reed because our defense is just flat out one of the best units in the country. And so I do like the Canes here. I've been confident with this one for about a week now. So I'm sticking with it, and my lock of the week is Miami at plus 3.5.
I like it. Yeah, it's interesting. I was reading some message boards from Texas A&M people, and a lot of the sentiment was, we're not worried about an ACC team. And it's like, first of all, there's so much wrong with that statement, but Miami is not an ACC. Like, you look around the ACC, this Miami team is just a whole different beast than whatever's happening in the ACC this season. I mean, they are physical up front. Well, it's everything we've already talked about, but it's like a lot of people don't even know what this Miami team is. Like, the way it's built, it's a dangerous team. You know, the casual fans don't quite understand just how good Miami can be if they're playing at their best. So I agree. I think you look at what Texas A&M has done this season. I'm in a position where I'm not scared or worried about Texas A&M. I guess I'm scared and worried about just being in the playoffs. This is uncharted territory for me, Curt. I don't know what to expect Saturday. It's also like we should have played a game week one. Or not week one. I mean, last week.
Last week, yeah.
Or yesterday. When we're recording this on a Sunday, it's like college football playoffs should start on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, it's going to be, by the time this game kicks off, it's going to feel like a new season. So that's a whole nother thing about that I'm a little worried about.
Yeah.
No idea what to expect out of these teams coming off a little bit of a 2-week hiatus, but we'll see. All right, my lock of the week. I got Oklahoma plus 1.5. I mean, it's a pick'em game. This is a rematch of Bama-Oklahoma. I'm just going purely off of what I saw Alabama do against Georgia and their inability to move the ball on offense. I can't imagine Alabama winning a football game right now. I don't think they should be in the playoffs. I think they stink, and I expect Oklahoma to win this game. Give me Oklahoma.
Yeah. It's funny that the conversation point around two things has been hilarious to me to think about is the fact that, Joe, media narratives work. They have successfully orchestrated the pushing of the narrative that you have to think about the playoff as Miami over BYU and Notre Dame. You have to think about it that way.
Right.
The conversation, there was a little bit of it, but not really. Not to the extreme. It never got to the level where it was the number one talking point. That Alabama ultimately down the stretch flailing and sputtering against Auburn and getting demolished by Georgia, moved up a spot in a 3-week span. They moved up in the rankings.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me that this 8-9 game in general is like, it's two offenses that have been horrendous,
horrible.
Oklahoma is like not so fast.
Teams that have just squeaked by the majority of their opponents.
They have limped and crawled their way to the finish line into this playoff, and no one. This is like the narrative bowl, you know, like where these two schools are so fortunate.
Dude, going into the final, even before the SEC championship week, going into week 12, it was just like what Jimmy loves, the college football playoff predictor. My God, can we put that thing to bed? Because it's atrocious. Predictor. But the all-state playoff predictor that Notre Dame fans were just hanging on to. The Notre Dame fans were like, what? But the all-state playoff predictor said we were 99%. But the all-state playoff predictor had Bama and Oklahoma. They're like, yeah, it doesn't. These games don't matter. They're in. Like, we weren't even no one was questioning that the SEC just got 5 teams in. That's just, it is. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's a given. Of course, SEC gets 5 teams. ACC, for the majority of the last quarter of the season, was talking about getting 0 teams in, and SEC gets 5, no problem. Yeah, narratives absolutely matter. Preseason rankings matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do a deep dive into that about teams that had to work their way from the outside the top 25 and how hard it was for them to get into the top 12 versus these teams that start there and can just look at Notre Dame. I mean, you start 0-2 and you're fine. You're not ranked in the top 25 and you start 0-2, you're done. Yeah. So the whole thing is crazy. But
Oklahoma squeaks by LSU, an LSU team that is absolutely terrible. Just terrible. Yeah. And they're like crying. Everyone's crying on the field and celebrating because they're a lock. It's like, Oklahoma's moving on to the playoff now.
Yeah. Against an LSU team that was interim coach, second string quarterback.
Yeah.
That's another as SEC, how many interim coaches were these teams playing against? You're playing against teams that have fired their coach midseason.
Yeah.
But you're a lock. As long as you win, you're a lock. Meanwhile, Miami, we're having to do trick plays to win by 45 to just put up a special score.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. Yes, that's my lock of the week, mainly just because I'm so mad at that game, so I have to pick somebody. Okay, let's finish. Actually, before Best of X, prediction time. You hinted at your prediction. Give me final score.
You know what?
Actually, I guess you could still have Miami losing, technically.
Yeah. I haven't thought of a final score. I'd laid down a Miami money line bet as well, to be honest with you.
Beautiful.
I like the Canes in this spot. I really like the Canes a lot in this spot. I think I'm going to go
scoring?
I think I'm going to go 24-20 here without knowing the over-under off the top of my head. I think because I think it's going to be defense. Both teams have great defenses. Elko is a defensive guy. Yeah. He's kind of his hallmark is tough defense. It's getting after the quarterback. It's third down defense in particular, and I think we're one of the best teams in the country in third down percentage. I think 27%, 28% this year is what we're holding teams to, which is so different than the 47% or whatever from the 22 or 21, whatever Manny Diaz's last season was. The
14.
third and longs and fourth and longs were just gashed. Yeah, I just think it's defense, and I think it's running. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. And I like the Canes at 24-20.
Over under is 51.5, so you'd be taking the under there. So yeah, pretty close to the 24-20. I'm with you. And I look at these games where you have like a couple weeks break in between. It can be a little weird, a little sloppy in that first half. I do think it's going to be a defensive battle. Both of these defenses shine. I think there is going to be a little bit of conservativeness. I know Miami fans don't like to hear that, but that it will be, we're going to try to run the football. We're going to try to get Carson back into a bit of a rhythm. Yeah, 24-20 is a good score. I'm just going to bump it up one. I'm going to go 27-24 Canes. My God, I hope it's not a Carter Davis last-second field goal. I will not be able to take that. Carter Davis has been awesome. He's the Irish killer. I think he's got ice in his veins. I simply cannot handle a playoff field goal to win it. I can't do it.
You just got me. The excitement I have for this game, the thought of down the stretch, this being a close game, just made me like,
just needing Carson.
I don't
back
know.
To
I don't know how I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
We've
be
got
able
the
to
ball.
Take it.
It's 3rd and 7 on the 30-yard line. We hand it off. We get 3 yards. 4th and 4, and then here comes Carter Davis. Oh,
I stood for the entire second half of the FSU game in my living room. Wife thought I was crazy. I was on my knees in the living room during the SMU game during overtime. Yeah. I was on my knees and then laying on my face. I can't even.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Let's close with best of X here. You got anything for me?
I've got a couple good ones that
All right.
that have. We've had some good content in the last few weeks.
Yeah,
But
X has been lively
Yeah.
last couple weeks.
yeah, and I was happy to see this. I sent out a tweet from the account about the ACC and stuff and what their social media blitz. Just in my opinion, seeing through it and being annoyed by it. And Brad Powers had a good one here. The ACC, in the midst of one of their propaganda tweets, one of their pro-Miami, to be fair, I just still didn't like it, but pro-Miami barrage, he said, I'd be more focused on y'all allowing a 7-5 team to win your conference championship game. And it's just, again, it's one of those, like, the focus here,
Yeah.
the narrative spinning of, like, Miami should be the last team that people are mad at. Oklahoma,
100%.
Alabama, and the ACC in particular. Be mad at the ACC. Be mad at the idiots who decided on this tiebreaker rule.
Notre Dame should be furious at the ACC. I agree with them there.
Because if Miami plays in that game, this doesn't happen. None of this happens. The only conversation that you have is, does BYU get in or do they not?
Right.
Notre Dame is in, Miami is in. Okay? All of this is avoided.
Yeah.
But these idiots in Charlotte, I mean, but that was what I was going to, the narrative, it's not even being discussed. No one, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, I know. And people are saying, like, we need to go to 16 teams. It's like, no, you need to fix the conference championships. That needs to be fixed. If that's fixed, none of this is a problem. 12 teams is fine. Just fix the Curt, how hard is it to just go back to divisions and your two best division winners play in the conference championship? How hard is that to do?
I don't get.
And every team in that division plays each other. And then guess what? Every 5 years or so, you can look at it and be like, we got to switch up divisions because one side's way better than the other or whatever. I don't care. Make it happen. But it's insane. If the ACC doesn't fix this going into next season, I don't want to see this being a change in 2028. It's got to be fixed next season because it's costing other teams a lot. So it's crazy. But I agree. No one's talking about it in just the general media, but I sure hope actual decision makers are talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
One of mine I got is the Irish Network. They posted, the Pop-Tart Bowl is so much fun, and it's perfect for schools like BYU and Georgia Tech. The Pop-Tart Bowl is not for Notre Dame, and I'm glad we opted out. The Irish Network got community noted hard, and the community note on X says, over the years, Notre Dame has accepted bowl invites to lesser bowls to lesser opponents. 2019 Camping World versus Iowa State, 2014 Music City Bowl versus LSU, 2013 Pinstripe versus Rutgers, 2010 Sun Bowl versus Miami, 2008 Hawaii Bowl versus Hawaii. We remember that 2010 Sun Bowl. That was Al Golden was in attendance. Watched Ja'Cory Harris throw a lot of passes to the other team.
Harrison Smith became the all-time, the generational safety he is today. He's on the TV right now, I think, still playing for the Vikings. I contended for years. One of our close friends is a Minnesota guy, Vikings. I used to tell him all the time, we got Harrison Smith drafted because he was Ja'Cory Harris's favorite target in that freaking Sun Bowl.
Yeah. And Al Golden watched that game and then decided, that's my quarterback going into next season. But yeah, I mean, the way that Notre Dame has treated the bowl game, the Pop-Tart Bowl, we all knew they thought they were holier than art thou, but they truly believe that. They think that they're just, if they can't be in the playoffs, then they're not going to play. They took their ball and went home, so good for them.
Yep.
Gosh, makes me so happy, actually.
Yeah. I've got one more best of X. I don't, but it's, there's a quote that ACC has done permanent damage to the relationship to Notre Dame in the CFP debate. This was Notre Dame's AD when he was going on that press tour where he just completely humiliated himself because it also came out and it got leaked that they've signed some sort of contract where if they're ranked in the top 12, they're automatically in, no debate.
Yes.
Have
you seen their schedule next season?
Oh, it's horrendous.
It's a joke.
It's really bad. But Barry Jackson quoted this one, and he said, "Hilarious stuff from NDAD, but they won't join a conference. Instead, took their ball and went home to lie on Linus's blanket with Snoopy offering comfort." A Barry Jackson Miami legend, another masterclass from Barry Jackson.
He's got some good ones. Yeah. How does that AD go home that night? Honey, how was work? Well, did you see me? I just cried he scheduled this whole press conference just to cry.
Yeah.
He said that he was mystified and shocked by what happened on Sunday. The same thing the disciples said on Easter Sunday. So that's what we've got happening. Guys, it's playoff football time. Your Miami Hurricanes kick off noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, Kyle Field at Texas A&M, Saturday, December 20th. And we'll see. We'll be here for every step of it. I can't believe it. Oh, God. Yeah, I will not be sitting during this game.
No way. I will be standing for the entirety.
And I will not be able to eat anything before, and I just hope to be able to have a feast after. I don't know how I'm going to feel after the game if we lose. I really don't know. If we win.
Yeah, that's with your outlook on it right now.
Yeah.
I know you're going to get sucked back. You're going to get, as soon as the ball kicks off.
I guess we're new to the playoffs. I guess I keep forgetting that there's a national championship on the line here.
Isn't it strange? I remember last year when by the time the national championship game got here, I remember saying, like, okay, this has gone on for, like, it's almost like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's gone on for too long. It was like January 20th or something.
It's tough to get there. That's a lot of wins.
Okay, one last thing. What's your dad's stance on this? How's Pops? Is Pops like, we're happy to be here? He's gonna be a lunatic during the game.
Yeah, but
he's gonna lose his mind.
He's happy. He's just happy to be here.
Yeah,
I think, and
I'm with that sense. It's just once the ball is kicked off,
right.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, you're fully. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be devastated if we lose. But man, because there was a point where it's just like, we're gonna get left out. And just the fact that we're playing in the playoffs against Texas A&M on Saturday, that's all I can think about. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a great week. We'll be back, drop an episode Thursday a.m., a little Texas A&M more in-depth preview. But until then, follow us on X, subscribe to YouTube, all that good stuff. Send us hate mail, all of it. We love it all. Go Canes, baby. Beat the Aggies.